Here we have a problem on simple interest. Okay, let's go to the information. In simple interest, a sum of money amounts to $6,200 in 2 years and $7,400 in 3 years. Find the principal and rate of interest. Okay, first let me draw a line. So on this line, I mark the point 0. So the 0 represents the present today. And this is 1 year. And here we have 2 years. And here we have 3 years. Okay, according to the question, in simple interest, a sum of money amounts to $6,200 in 2 years. That is, at the end of 2 years, the amount of money in the account is $6,200. At the end of 3 years, we have $7,400. Let me write it over here. Okay, how much interest earned in this particular year? That is in the third year. So that gives that can be found by finding the difference between 6,200, 7,400. So the interest earned in this particular year is $1,200. So because at the end of the second year, we have $6,200 balance. So in the third year, interest earned is $1,200. When I add this interest to this value 6,200, I'm getting the value of the deposit at the end of 3 years. Okay, already we know that interest earned every year in simple interest is always constant. So here in the third year, interest earned is $1,200. So the same interest would have been earned in the second year also, that is $1,200. In the first year also, the same interest would have been earned. So in simple interest, always the interest earned every year will be a constant. Okay, so here at the end of 2 years, we have $6,200 balance. Then what is the balance at the end of the first year? So to know that, we have to subtract the interest earned in the second year from the balance at the end of the second year. That is, we have to subtract this interest $1,200 from this $6,200. When I do subtraction, I'm getting $5,000. So this is the balance at the end of the first year. Then, so what is the initial value of the deposit? That is principal. So for that, we have to subtract the interest earned in the first year from the balance at the end of the first year. So when I subtract this $1,200 from this $5,000, I'm getting $3,800. So initial balance is $3,800. So this is the principal. So according to the question, we have to find the principal and rate of interest. I got the principal. The principal is $3,800. So now we have to find the rate of interest. So we have a formula to find the rate of interest. So the formula is I is equal to P times R times T. So this capital I represents interest earned, and this P represents principal or the initial value of the deposit. R represents the rate of interest, and this T represents the time period in years. Okay, here we can use 140. If I use 140, that represents 1 year. So here for I have to take the interest for 1 year. If I take 240, then I have to take interest for 2 years for this capital I. So I know that interest for 1 year, that is $1,200. So that I plug in for this I over here. So P is $3,800, the initial value of the deposit, and R I do not know. That is what I have to find. So here, what value should I take for this T? So here, for how many years have I taken interest? I have taken interest $1,200. That is for only 1 year. Since I have taken interest for only 1 year over here, so I have to plug in 1 for this T over here. In case I have taken interest for 2 years, I have to plug in 240 over here. But I have taken only interest only for 1 year. So that is $1,200 for this capital I. Capital I represents the interest. So since I have taken interest for only 1 year, I plug in 1 for T. So then I'm getting 1,200 equals to, so when I multiply 3,800 R and 1, I'm getting 3,800 R. To solve for R in this equation, I have to divide both sides by 3,800. Let me do it. So here 3,800 will cancel out. And when I divide 1,200 by 3,800, I'm getting 0.315789, and it keeps going. So this is the value of R. Okay, let me write R is equal to 0.315789. Okay, so if you want to convert this one to percentage, what I have to do is I have to multiply this complete value by 100. Let me multiply this one by 100. If I multiply this one by 100, so the decimal point has to be moved 2 digits to the right. When I do so, I'm getting 31.5789, and it keeps going. So it can be rounded to the nearest 100. Then I'm getting 31.58%. Already it's a percentage only. So I got the principal and rate of interest. The principal is $3,800, and the rate of interest is 31.58%. 5%.